Do you want to receive monthly income right into your pocket doing absolutely nothing? If your answer was yes, then you're in the right place. I'm going to walk every one of you step by step through exactly how to get monthly passive income. And to do this, we are going to be using the stock market. All you're going to need to set this up is an investment portfolio and some money. Those two things, and in combination with watching this video until the end, will result in you having all the knowledge and tools you need to set up monthly passive income. Are you ready to start rolling in passive income? If you are, then let's get started. So now how exactly are we going to do this? Well, the answer is using a little something called dividend stocks. I'm sure some of you watching this video know what dividends are, but very quickly, dividends, for anyone who doesn't know, are payments that a company will pay you for investing in shares of their company. Think of it like a reward that a company will give out to its shareholders every so often. By investing money into these dividend companies, you are entitled to dividends. And that is the absolute basis of what this monthly passive income strategy is going to be about. You see, it's one thing for those of you who know what dividends are, and for those of you who now know, to understand they pay out. But what we're going to work on today is the timing of dividend payments and looking at even specific companies inside of my portfolio that I'm going to be investing in that pay out so that we can set up enough dividend companies to where you're getting paid every single month. Let's get right into step one. Okay, the first step in this process is to open up your brokerage account. I have my Robinhood portfolio currently pulled up. For anyone who's watching this video and does not yet have a portfolio, feel free to get started with the link in my description. Very easy to set up. With step one being done, we now move on to the second step, which is actually buying the stocks. We're going to pick 4 stocks that pay out on different month segments so that we are constantly getting passive income. And then what I'll show you after that is if you don't want to do the work of finding your own 4 companies or using the 4 companies in this video, I'm going to give you a list of stocks that pay out every single month their own dividends, so you don't have to do any of the front work on finding what companies you want to invest in. At least you don't have to find 4 companies. Always do your research when it comes to investing. So for the purpose of this challenge, I'm going to be depositing just about $400 into the stock market so that we can go through the process of actually buying the stocks together. All right, and here we go. $400 is being loaded into my brokerage account. We have the instant deposit available on Robinhood where you can have up to $1,000 instantly, where you don't have to wait for, clearing fees and all of that stuff that is then done behind the scenes. Okay, so with our $400 loaded up, we are going to now look at the first of our 3 companies that we're picking today. I know earlier, I think I mentioned 4 on accident. I meant to say 3. Nevertheless, the first company we are going to be looking at is Pepsi. Any company I mention in this video is purely what I will be buying. Do not base what you buy off of exactly what I'm saying, but Pepsi is absolutely an option that will be covering January, April, July, and October as a part of our monthly calendar. If we scroll down here, we'll see that Pepsi has a dividend yield of 3.01%, which means for any amount of money that you are going to put into this company, you will get 3.1% back total. That is an annual percentage. You do not get 3% every quarter. Rather, you will get whatever the monthly, or I guess quarterly adjustment is for the dividend yield. But to get the first leg down as a part of our monthly income strategy, we are going to put in $100 to this. As you can see, our order has just been queued up. It is currently out of market hours, so I'm not going to be able to get this filled until market open, but that's okay. And scrolling back to this dividend yield, I do want to touch briefly that this will vary for every company. Just because Pepsi has a 3.01% does not mean every other company that pays out dividends will also have that same percentage, which actually perfectly leads us to the second company out of our 3, which as you can see is Apple. Everyone knows the company Apple. It is a great company. In my opinion, I am currently using Robinhood on an Apple phone right now. They just released their new phones. A lot of great stuff going on there. And as we scroll down, you'll see that this one varies dramatically from Pepsi. This one only has a 0.43% dividend yield, which I understand may not sound like a lot, but understand that when you buy the actual shares of these companies, the dividends are almost an extra cherry on top of income. There is the stock appreciation, which is really important to think about when investing in general. But nonetheless, you still are receiving a nice little dividend on top of what I perceive to be a fantastic growth company. It's also important to note that in order to get paid out dividends, you have to own an entire share of the company. You are not paid on fractional shares. So I know with Pepsi, I only filled for about 0.58 shares. So I'm actually going to have to go back in and buy the rest of the share if I do want to get paid out. But for the purpose of this video, I just loaded up some money so we could walk through the trade. Especially looking at the case like Apple, I personally own plenty of this company to where I've already been receiving dividends on this. But we are going to place this trade too so that you guys can see the process. It is very easy to set up, very simple. And I'm really going through so that you guys can see for whatever companies you decide to pick for yourself, what the process could totally look like. So as you can see, that order got queued up, which takes care of our February, May, August, and November slots of the calendar. So with that being done, there is only one more company we have to look at that will then cover the final 4 months. And for anyone who's confused as to why these months are kind of staggering is because they are paid out on a quarterly basis, which means that every 3 months, a payment is being made as a part of that annual dividend yield to the investors. The third and final company we need to look at for monthly passive income for doing absolutely nothing is Home Depot. I've talked about Home Depot in a lot of my stock videos. I personally own a decent amount of Home Depot. And as you can see, the dividend yield is 2.27%. So this one lands us on the higher side of the dividend yield compared to Apple. And once again, we are going to buy $100 of it and swipe up, submit, order received, and that is queued. And with Home Depot, that fills the spot of March, June, September, and December. So those are all 12 months that we had to take care of, and that is if we wanted to do the strategy of 3 different companies. If somebody decided to do a portfolio modeled like that for their monthly passive income, that would give you a total portfolio dividend yield of just about 2%. Again, that's assuming that the dividend yield stays the same, which it is subject to change, but it often is pretty consistent. Because keep in mind, it is not just you that's being paid out, that there are many people with high interest in the company that want consistent dividends. But I can understand the thought that some of you might be having right now, which is 3 different stocks is a lot to worry about, and what if I just want something more simple, one entity that I can understand? Well, don't worry, because that is also a totally valid option, and that leads us to companies that you can buy that pay dividends every single month. There are a couple advantages or disadvantages to either of these strategies. I am not personally qualified to talk about that. That is up for you to decide. Make sure to do your research with any investing, but let's get into exactly how you can buy just one company and one ticker symbol to get paid out every single month. And the company I'm going to be using for this example is Realty Income. This is a company that I personally have held for quite some time. They pay dividends out every single month, and with a total yield of 5.01%. So this yield is extremely high compared to everything else. We are earning 5% back, so $100 every single year is a free $5 on top of whatever the stock price does. It is important to note that you do not want to just chase the highest yield dividend companies, because there can be a lot of risk with that, and you may end up losing more on the principal, meaning the stock price, actually going down more than is offset by the dividend yield. Something to keep note of. Again, I am not qualified to give advice on that. But the process, same as if you were to pick 3 companies, you just put your money in and you submit it. For anyone who wants to go with either of these methods, I'm going to leave a link in the description where you can check out a list of all companies that are paying out dividends, and you can do the math for yourself and look at which companies are paying monthly, quarterly, and build your own form of monthly passive income in the stock market. Dividends can be an incredibly powerful tool that you get paid monthly for doing absolutely nothing with a strategy like this. Over time, these dividends can be reinvested into shares of the company, which can then build more dividends, and that is known as the dividend snowball. It builds over time. The earlier you can get started in something like this, the better off you are. And if you are getting paid out every single month, it's going to feel really good that you can just sit here and do nothing, absolutely nothing. Just leave your money in a portfolio, and people will then use that, build up their companies, and pay you out a portion of their profits. I have been doing this for about 5 years, and I am starting to see the effects of capital appreciation on the stock, and also the dividend payouts. They've been steadily growing over time and are proving to be a very valuable tool, and probably one of the only true forms of passive income. That is how you get paid every single month for doing absolutely nothing using the stock market. I want to keep things short and simple. I hope I did that. Leave any questions you have for me in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you're currently doing any dividend investing. I'm eager to know what you guys are personally investing in. Like this video if you think I provide any value. Subscribe if you like entrepreneurship, the stock market, or making money. And consider clicking this video here if you want to learn more about my stock portfolio as a 20-year-old. And that's all I have for you guys. Thank you.